To get a better amplified tone out of your acoustic electric guitar, try strumming a little bit more gently, turn down the mid frequencies and add just a little bit of reverb. Stick around to find out more. This is Adam from beatharvest.com and I'm going to teach you how to get a good amplified tone out of your acoustic electric guitar. This is the acoustic guitar that I play live in my band Bootstrap Circus, and about a quarter of our repertoire is played on acoustic guitar. And I've spent quite a bit of time and money researching things and trying different things to get a really nice amplified tone out of this guitar. We're going to talk more about this guitar later, but for now I'm going to switch to something a little more affordable. So this guitar was donated to the Beat Harvest program by my friend Todd so that our scholarship students would have something to play. So thank you, Todd. It's a nice guitar. It's a Fender DG22CE. Isn't that a romantic name? You've got your Telecaster, your Stratocaster, your Jazzmaster, your Jaguar, and the DG22CE. Boring name, nice guitar, but it is not a $1,000 Takamine. It's great for what I'm trying to demonstrate here though, how I can take a pretty simple guitar and get a really nice amplified acoustic electric tone out of it. So obviously what is and what isn't a good acoustic guitar tone is going to be the source of some debate, and you can head to the comments section to find out all about that. What I'm going to assume for this video is that you like the acoustic tone of your guitar and you would like to create an amplified tone that is as close as possible to that. So the easiest way to achieve that is to take a condenser mic and pop it in front of your guitar. The mic will pick up the tone of the guitar really nicely, send it down the cable and out through the speakers. So why would you not do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, this microphone only works if I'm sitting right in front of it. And as I've mentioned in some of my other videos, when I'm playing music, I like to move around. So that's not going to work for me. The other thing is with this microphone is it's going to pick up not just my guitar, but the other instruments on stage. So the bass and the drums and anything else that I have going on around me. It's also going to pick up anything that I have coming back through the monitors so I can hear myself, which is going to cause feedback. So if you are a sessile guitarist that doesn't move, and you don't play with other loud instruments on stage and you keep your stage volume low, this can work really well for you. For the rest of us, we're going to need a different solution. Sorry, Mike. Goodbye. So the most common way to amplify an acoustic guitar is with a piezo pickup underneath the bridge. And what I've done today is I've taken the output of the guitar, plugged it straight into my computer so you can hear directly what that sounds like. So this is what my guitar sounds like here in the room. And this is the sound of the pickup straight into the computer. Now, if you think that that's a great acoustic guitar tone, great, you're done. But I think we can agree that this doesn't sound very much like the natural sound of the guitar in the room. So here's a couple of things we can do to make it sound a little bit closer. The first thing is, and you've probably heard this before, is that your tone comes from your fingers. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. They'd rather buy something or switch something on that's going to fix their tone. But the reality is you're going to have to practice a little bit. And in this case, playing a little bit more gently can take away some of the harsh sound that we get from that guitar. So what is that harsh sound? Well, it's kind of a symptom of using the piezo pickup, as it has this kind of nasal mid-range, kind of a kind of sound to it. And one way that we can help is just turning down the mid-range. A lot of guitars have an EQ on with treble, middle and bass. And if I turn down those mids a little bit, you can hear that that goes some way to solving that problem. If I turn the mids up, you can hear what we're cutting out. You can hear what it sounds like. So that's lots of mids. Turn them down. Another key part of the acoustic guitar sound is the natural reverb you get from the body of the guitar. And a piezo pickup doesn't really pick this up. So the sound can sound a little bit in your face, a little close, and a little bit dry. So one way you can solve that is adding a little bit of reverb to the sound. And most acoustic amps or mixers have reverb that you can use for this. If you add a ton of reverb, like this kind of thing, it's kind of a cool sound, but it sounds really processed. It doesn't sound like my guitar sounds in the room. So what I like to do is add just a little bit of reverb. It's almost off. It just puts a little bit of the air back into it. So those are 3 things you can do to improve your live acoustic tone that won't cost you a penny. Strum a little bit more gently, turn down the mid-range, and add just a little bit of reverb. If you want to invest some money in your acoustic setup, stick around and I'll show you some options. Okay, so I'll switch back to my Takamine, and like I said earlier, this is a guitar that I've invested quite a bit of time and money in to get a tone that I really like for playing live. The other thing I wanted to talk about was how you actually make your guitar louder on stage. Some people like to have an acoustic amplifier on the stage, and some people like to plug straight into the sound system. I've tried various acoustic amps, and they sounded okay, but they didn't sound better enough than just plugging into the sound system to me. And the thing I like about plugging straight into the sound system is I can get my guitar sound right in my face from the monitors with my vocals, and also I don't have to carry an amplifier around. I do sometimes play shows on my own, and what I do for that is I take a PA speaker, and I'll show you one of the speakers that I use. It's a QSC K12, and what I like about these speakers is they have 2 inputs on the back, so I can plug my guitar into one input, my vocal into the other, and it's basically like an acoustic amplifier. It's 1,000 watts, it's plenty loud enough for anything I'd want to play, and I can also use it as a PA speaker. So let's take a look at the actual guitar and what I've found really works for me. So this guitar has a piezo pickup under the bridge, and when you plug it in, it sounds like this. So it definitely has that kind of nasal mid-range piezo sound to it. So just like I did with the more affordable guitar, I'm going to turn down the mid-range a little bit. And I'm going to play it just a little bit more gently. In addition to that, there's a couple of other things I did to this guitar. The first was I replaced the preamp that was in here with this Takamine Cool Tube preamp, which has a vacuum tube in it like you'd find in an old school electric guitar amplifier. And in guitar amps, we often use tubes to get a distorted sound because they distort in a pleasing way. But in here, it just adds a little bit of warmth to the sound. It takes off the edge. So something that piezo pickups have that a lot of people don't like is they have this really harsh attack to them. And this softens it a little bit. So here it is without the tube. And here it is with the tube. It's a pretty subtle difference, but when you're amplified through a big sound system, it's actually quite noticeable. The other thing I've done on this guitar is add an extra pickup, because this particular preamp has plugins for 2 different pickups. So as well as the piezo under the bridge, I have a magnetic sound hole pickup. It's a Takamine Triax pickup, and it's actually the same as the LR Baggs M80, I believe. And I plug that into the preamp, and then I blend that with the pickup under the saddle. So that sounds like this. Here it is without the magnetic pickup. And I've turned it up. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit to compensate, because now I have 2 pickups. And I like that tone. I think it sounds pretty much like my guitar does acoustically. It works well for strumming. It also works quite well for finger picking. And it's a really simple system. I have a tuner in here. I have my EQ. And so this is basically my acoustic rig. When I turn up at a show, I just take this guitar and I plug it into the sound system and I'm done. I don't need any pedals, I don't need an amplifier, I don't need a tuner. And actually, if I turn on the tuner, it even mutes the guitar. So if I put it down when I play an electric song, it's not going to feedback or anything. So the only other thing I've added is a reverb pedal, and the reason I do this is when I plug straight into the PA speakers, they don't have any effects on them or any EQ, and that's fine because I have the EQ on here, but like I said before, I like to add just a little bit of reverb to my tone. So the reverb pedal I use is a TC Electronic Hall of Fame Mini. And I really like this because it just has 1 knob on it that just says reverb, and you can turn it up or turn it down. And that's great because when I'm setting up, I don't want to be twiddling around with a whole load of things to get the sound I want. The other great thing about this pedal is that even though it only has 1 knob, you can download different settings to it via your smartphone. You just hold it up to the pickup on your guitar, press a button, and it beams a new tone to it. And it can do all kinds of big, luscious, swirly reverbs. But the thing that I really like is it does an ambience style reverb. And that reverb to me sounds like the kind of reverb you get in a room from a natural acoustic guitar. So if I switch that on, you can hear it just adds a little space to the sound. It's pretty subtle. If I do some little hits, you can just hear it there. If I switch it off, dry sound. And there it is with just a little bit of ambience. So I really hope this was helpful. If you found other things that work for you to get a really nice live acoustic guitar sound, please share them in the comments section below. Go to beatharvest.com for more music education tools, and I'll see you next time.